His desire has always been unshakable, his commitment unbreakable. And for more than 40 years, his face has been one of the most unmistakable in Canadian sport.
He was a modern-day Jean Beliveau for me, an ambassador of the game, a great person, but also a great player.
Lanny McDonald personifies fortitude, skill, integrity, and the Canadian dream. That any farm boy can grow up to see his name forever engraved on the Stanley Cup.
He's a farm boy, and he never lost that work ethic. He never lost that aspect of, putting in your time and effort. Nothing came easy for him.
At the age of 16, Lanny leaves home for junior hockey in Lethbridge. By the age of 20, he is a Toronto Maple Leaf. For 6.5 seasons in Toronto, he teams with Daryl Sittler to form an offensive powerhouse.
Well, Lanny's one of my best friends. Sometimes you get an opportunity to play with players that there's a certain chemistry that you have. You think a lot alike, and we had a lot of success together. He's a special man.
One trip to the Stanley Cup semifinals in 1978, thanks to Lanny's overtime goal against the New York Islanders. That's as far as the Leafs ever get.
Well, when Lanny scored it, I was on the ice, and he had a broken wrist. He had a cast on his hand when he scored it. When it went in, he just threw his hands up. We all jumped on him.
As a young lad, watching Lanny, and when he scored that overtime goal, I remember being at somebody's house, and we were like, this is the greatest day, and never thinking, that I'd end up playing with him.
In 1979, fans of the Maple Leafs are devastated when Lanny is acquired in a trade by the Colorado Rockies.
That was a bad deal. It was hurtful. It was hurtful for the franchise. Lanny McDonald was a special player, and you don't give up those types of guys.
Then, in 1981, Lanny returns to Canada as a member of the Calgary Flames. What follows are the best, yet sometimes the most frustrating, years of his career. 66 goals at the age of 30. 3 years later, his first Stanley Cup final and a crushing loss to Montreal. Then, at the age of 36, with his ice time limited, the Flames captain finally hoists the Stanley Cup.
I remember sitting in Montreal dressing room. We were sitting beside each other, and he looked at me and he said, I scored my first goal here. I want to score my last one here. And that was Game 6 of the Stanley Cup final.
At the end of the game, to see them win and celebrate him and his big mustache and his red hair holding the Stanley Cup. Karma, I think, is important in anybody's life, and for all the good things Lanny did and the quality of the person and the teammate and the family guy, all those characteristics of him as a person, that reward of winning the cup was meant to be and should have been.
That summer, the farm boy skates away from the game. Today, he continues to be an inspiration to millions of young Canadians who see their dreams and their possibilities reflected in the famous face of a true champion.